Hello and welcome to Buzz Builders. This is Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, and I'm joined by Jeff Ferrazzo of Constant Contact. And we also have a few folks in the room here live, so thanks for everyone for joining us. We do have a few viewers that are going to be joining us on the call from registration, so welcome to you folks as well. And this will be broadcast after at BuzzBuild or at BizzyWeb.com in the archive, which is at /BB. So BizzyWeb.com/BB if you'd like to view our online archive. We have over 100 of our Buzz Builders videos out now. Wanted to go through a brief few things before we get over to Jeff. First, we're going to go through our agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about BizzyWeb. We'll go through making the case for mobile with Jeff, and then we're going to go into Q&A. So after Jeff's done with his presentation, you can post questions via the Q&A tool on Google+. And in order to do that, you're going to want to go to google.com/+BizzyWeb. And be sure to, if you'd like to, set up a Constant Contact account. BizzyWeb is an ALE, an area local expert on Constant Contact, and we'd love to talk to you about that and to get you set up. There's a brand new toolkit out there that we're incredibly excited about, and that's actually what got me on with Constant Contact and with Jeff after so many years of speaking together. And so I'm delighted to have Jeff with us. You already know about us. I'm going to get right through this. We're a web design and social media company that specializes in web design using the WordPress platform. And when we build our websites, we cross-post those posts out onto social media networks, including LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and you can also broadcast across your email marketing, which is how I came to know Jeff. Social media setups, you're already viewing us on one of these, on Google+ up in front, and delighted to have you on this call. In order to get us right to the content, I'm going to skip right ahead and tell you how you can meet Jeff. So Jeff, thanks very much for joining us, and I'm going to switch the broadcast over to your screens now so you're in control. Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, Dave. Very happy to be here. And welcome, everybody. As Dave said, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're talking about making the case for mobile. And this came about because Constant Contact does 2 surveys out to our 600,000 customers in the spring and fall. And last fall, a couple of answers were really surprising to us. And we did some more research, and it really showed us that there's a strong interaction with people connecting with their email and social on their smartphones and tablets. So we put together this presentation. It's not meant to get you panicked or have you thinking that you've got to run out and start doing a whole bunch of new things and spend a ton of money. We just want to get this on your radar so that as you're looking at making some changes, you'll have some things in mind that'll help you with this, and then we'll give you some next steps that you can do today that'll make it easy for you to make yourself more mobile friendly and more accessible. So with that, we'll dive right in.
It should be working. It was click and move forward. Well, we're having our first technological enhancements today. Let's see what's going on with this. Just tap it. There we go.
All right, so there's my contact info. Feel free to connect with me. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me or connect with me out on Facebook and Twitter. And we'll get into our content. So in 2012, there was 129 million smartphones in the United States, and that number has increased dramatically since then. 91% of all U.S. adults own a cell phone. 29% of Americans use only a mobile device to connect to the internet. So 1 in 3 people is using a tablet or a smartphone as their only means of internet connection. On average, 78% of the people that are with us today are using a mobile device to manage something in their personal lives, a calendar, banking, doing something. 80% of adults 18 to 44 have their smartphone within arm's reach 22 hours a day. When I first heard that, my thought was, who are the morons that are waking up, turning off their phone for 2 hours, and going back to sleep? And as I thought about it, I realized that I'm one of the morons. I wake up at 6 o'clock and I turn my phone on, and I go to bed anywhere between 10 and midnight, and I turn my phone off. So it's on for 20 hours a day, and it's pretty much within arm's reach all the time. So it has become an integrated part of our lives, and we're not going to move away from that. So when we started working on this presentation 3 months ago, we used a phrase, small business mobile marketing, and we did a search, and it brought up 220 million results. And I was presenting last week, and I thought, I'm just going to double check and see where we're at. 467 million results. It's doubled in a little over 3 months. So the people that are searching on some variation of small business mobile marketing is astronomical. So it just reinforces why we wanted to put this together and get it out there on your radar. So we've got our intro that we talked about. We'll share some things that you can't ignore. We'll show how small business is actually using mobile. We've got some examples to show you, some things you can do today and what your next steps can be. So U.S. smartphone subscriptions are expected to grow 28% this year after growing 28% last year. 40% of Americans under 35 are using a mobile device to do a donation. And we thought that was pretty high, and then we realized all of those text to donate things that you see on every telethon is where this is happening. 50% of mobile device are using a mobile device to browse a website or emails of nonprofits. So for nonprofits, business associations, you can't ignore mobile either. Local search, 75% use a phone to get real-time location-based information. 90% of those mobile searches are leading to action. 70% of them are happening within an hour of the search. So you have to make sure that you're easily found. So if you haven't gone out and made sure that all your contact information is correct on your Google Plus page, you have to do so. They built a lot of those pages for businesses, and they cobbled together information from different directories, and it's not 100% accurate. We had somebody in one of our seminars a couple of weeks ago, and it's a bank here, and there's a bank out in Connecticut that has a very similar name, and their listing had their name, a picture of the Connecticut bank, and it had an old phone number for the bank from several years ago. So you have to go out and make sure that your information is accurate so that when people are going to take action on these searches, that they're finding you and you're able to get the payoff for it. So here was the number that started all of this. 42% of emails, marketing emails, are being opened on a smart device, a phone or a tablet. And that's a complete game changer now, because the pretty picture that you're putting in there, the video from your event last night, that's not able to grab their attention. It's your from line and your subject line now that you're banking on getting them to engage with you. And it led us to create what we call the 3 little words that are ruling our world: now, later, or never. And that's the decision people are making on their phone or their smart device. Do I look at this now? We're hoping that at least they say, I'll look at it later. But we certainly don't want them hitting never, because if they pick never, they delete it off their phone, it's not going to be on their tablet, it's not going to be on their desktop when they get back to their office. So you really, it really makes the from line and subject line that much more important, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So how small business is using mobile. 66% of small businesses in our survey said that they were using mobile for their business to some degree. 34% said they aren't. Question further on the 34%, some of them said that they had, 65% said they had no plans to adopt mobile in the future. I think those 65% are looking at a slow demise to their business, because you just can't ignore this. 56% lack of customer demand, also just feel like they're sticking their head in the sand. Mobile isn't relevant to my industry or business. Again, we're hard-pressed to find a business that isn't on mobile. And just because you're not out there doesn't mean people aren't talking about your business on social networks, on the directories, on review sites. So even though you might not be out there, other people are talking about your business, good or bad, you're being discussed. So you have to pay attention. You have to start listening to what's going on out there. So we came up with 4 really diverse examples to show how businesses are using mobile. So Hope Hummus obviously manufactures hummus. They sell only through retail chains. They don't sell direct to the consumer. So they created a mobile app to help you find hope. So you can fire up the app, you can get to it from their mobile site, and you just press the Find Hope button, and it'll use the GPS in your phone to show you the closest retail location to be able to find their hummus. So they're supporting their distribution network in a tremendous way. We've got Wheels Manufacturing. They produce wheels for various types of vehicles. Not a bad looking site, at least they've got the majority of everything on one screen. They're using a mobile friendly type of approach to it, and they're getting some traction out there. There's an obituary service that's set up. You can log into the app, you can search for the person whose obituary you're looking for. You can find out all the service information. They even give you a way that you could post comments to the family, share photos of yourself with the deceased. A lot of interaction. And then Taxware is a tax software company. Pretty good job. They've got everything on there. They've got clear calls to action and buttons to help you navigate what you're trying to do. So 4 really diverse businesses. So for that 28% that said mobile wasn't right for their business, if it's right for these 4, I don't know how you don't fit in between them. Okay? So why not? Some of the answers of why people hadn't done it yet were nonprofit. We've obviously shown how that is not an acceptable answer with so many people interacting with nonprofits on mobile. We're regulated by the government. Find a business that isn't, to some form or fashion. Not best for my products. We've just shown you 4 diverse products or services, and it works for them. You've got to fit in between there. And the cost is too high. 3-4 years ago, absolutely, the cost was high, either in actual dollars outlaid to support a mobile website, your regular website, doing that type of stuff was expensive, did take a lot of time to support 2 things. Today, not an issue at all. The go-to platform for most web developers, and I know that BizzyWeb is one of them, is a WordPress setup. The majority of WordPress sites have gone to a responsive setup. So when you have one responsive website, you are automatically set up for tablets and smartphones. So you're good to go. You're only maintaining one site. And the cost of responsive sites have gone down dramatically in the last 4 or 5 years as well. So, the cost isn't too high anymore. The cost not doing it is what's going to be too high for you. So some ideas on mobile for operations. Doing calendaring or time management. 82% of businesses are using some sort of mobile app to help with this. When I was running my consulting business, I worked with a landscape company, and it really surprised me how they had embraced technology. And a couple of things that they did, their main issue and expense was trying to calculate people's time. Getting timesheets sent into them, getting accurate information, having to make adjustments to paychecks, when issues came up. So what they did is they created an app. They scheduled where everybody was supposed to be, and every employee put the app on their smartphone, and as soon as they got to the job site, it checked them into work. They didn't have to do anything. They were scheduled for an hour off at lunch. If they took less, they could manually make a change. And if they stayed late, they could manually check out at the end of the day as well. and they no longer had to get a supervisor approval or make any adjustments, and they didn't have to stop back in at the corporate headquarters to drop off their information once a week either. It was all done every day, and they could check it the next day to make sure it was accurate. So streamline their process, really helped them out. The other thing that they had an issue with was people kind of misusing company vehicles, and they equipped the vehicles with a GPS system. So when somebody checked out from the job site on a Friday afternoon, and the next morning they noticed that the truck was out in Boulder, Colorado, and they didn't have a job out in Boulder, Colorado, they knew that somebody had taken a vehicle out there for personal use. And if they would have asked, they might not have had an issue, but because they weren't asking, they needed to keep track of everything. Needless to say, after the person got that phone call and said, "How's Boulder?" Misuse of company vehicles diminished to 0. So using customer communication, whether it's a one-to-one or one-to-many with social sites, email, lots of interaction there. GPS and mapping, 52%. And then accounting and invoicing, 44%. You look at the big boon to entrepreneurs now, and especially those who aren't working out of a retail location. An artist, a fitness instructor, a yoga instructor can now take a credit card for payment by simply swiping it with their smartphone. They've been able to see a huge boom in their business. They can actually make more money because people spend, one statistic I heard, up to 30% more than paying cash. So they're able to increase their revenues just by being able to take credit card. So 98% of small businesses are using email marketing of some form or fashion, whether it's their Outlook or web-based mail, or they're working with a service provider. Tremendous amount of businesses have embraced email for their communication. 42%, as we said, of emails, marketing emails, are being opened on a smart device. 3% of users view their email on more than one platform, which is a good thing, and we hope that number rises. 80% of mobile users delete mobile email that doesn't look good. That's not good for business. So we want to get this on your horizon. We've jumped on this, and we're starting to create more mobile-friendly and mobile-responsive templates. And 30% say they're unsubscribing from email lists that sent them bad-looking email. That's a huge number. So getting your marketing email into a template that is going to be mobile-friendly or mobile-responsive will help out tremendously in decreasing that number. So a look at images and using images to be mobile-friendly. Not a bad job here, but less is definitely more when it comes to mobile. So the smaller pictures really aren't doing them a service in there. They'd be better off having fewer but larger pictures that fit the screen. So House 307 POD did a good job with that. Field day is here. So pretty nice job. You've got the majority of the information on one screen. It's sized right. You've just got to simply scroll up, and you'll be able to see the rest of the information. And then another example from South Grove PTA, their appreciation dinner. Everything shows up on one screen. You can press the link and go right to the website to register. So did a tremendous job at being accessible there. So at the end of the day, it's about success. It's not about correct spelling, evidently, so I'll have to fix that. And some tips, things that you can do today. So with what you're currently doing now, avoid using too much text. So here's an example. You know, way too much text. You got to fit a picture in there somewhere, and you have to have a clear call to action. So a little bit better job there. They've got a picture in there, and they've got a clear call to action button. It would help them to shorten it up so that you can see the next article that they had. So avoid multiple columns. They don't re-render well, and based upon the phone and the platform, you just don't know how it's going to look. So traditional 2-column type of email template where you've got a 1/3 gutter column with your static information and 2/3 with your body copy doesn't necessarily readjust well. So a lot of people are moving to a one-column type of look that's much more mobile friendly. Again, if you've got multiple columns and things string out, nobody's going to bother scrolling on that one because they know it's going to go forever. So avoid unclear calls to action. Don't highlight things, because if you're on a phone or a tablet, what do we expect when something's highlighted? That it's a live link. So if you've just highlighted something for the case of highlighting it, you're going to have people banging their finger against their phone and not being happy because it's not going somewhere. And don't have multiple calls to action either. So if you're trying to get them to do something, give them one choice, focus on one thing, get them to go there, take care of the other decisions over there. So combining them, having one clear call to action, having a photo in there can help a lot. Moving your call to action to a button will actually be more beneficial. Avoid too tiny a font, 9-point font, and you also have to really be concerned about contrast now between text and backgrounds. The majority of smartphones, recent statistic that I saw was that most new smartphones have their contrast turned down to 75% to save on battery life. So you want to be sure that you've got good contrast between your text and your background. And then 9-point font just doesn't cut it on a smartphone. 11 points a little bit better. You can see that they improved the contrast slightly on there. And then 16-point font, and they went to black text on the light green background rather than green on green. 16-point looks great on a smartphone or a tablet, and it looks tremendous in an email as well. So it's not too big to be used in an email. So use images carefully. Again, if you're linking to them, make sure that you've got control over the links, because somebody could move it, and then they're going to get the box with the red X. At least they put a description behind the photo, so at least you knew what was supposed to be there. Not a bad idea here. They've got it positioned width-wise. It's the right size. You can see, some of the information on there, so if you scroll, you're going to be able to get the rest. Unfortunately, the images they used down below were too small. So a little bit too big an image on the first one, too small images on the latter ones. And then using too big of an image won't allow it to render down small enough. So you want to be sure that you've got a mobile-friendly image size. You can't ignore local search. You want to make sure that all your information is correct, that the search directories that you're on, you've got accurate information on there, and that your retail location shows up, or how you want your business found is showing up on there. You're going to be sure that you've got correct phone number is ready for you. So if you're on a type of directory that is going to show your contact information, that all of that is accurate as well, and that it's set up so that they can press a button to call. And then again, making sure that your web address is correct, your phone number is correct, your street address and zip code is correct. Make sure your zip code's in there so that you can show up on the mapping systems that the directory might have. And then don't turn off phones by not having them mobile friendly. So you really want to try to get your pictures in there, and make your phone an asset for you and a tool for you. So we, for example, have partnered with our partnership with Facebook so that you can have Instagram associated with your account. You can snap pictures using Instagram, and they upload right into your Constant Contact account. You don't have to email them to yourself anymore, or send them to yourself and then upload them off your desktop. You can get them right into the account. So when you're holding an event, you can take pictures and get them right into your account that you can send out on an email or share in your social platforms. And then mobile is being used for a tremendous amount of interaction. Like we said, There's 300 million updates to Facebook done off of a phone. 40 million pictures per day are being uploaded. 4.5 million pictures on Flickr are being uploaded daily. Heard a statistic last week at a conference that every minute of every day, 100 hours of video are being posted up onto YouTube. So with that number, another statistic that I heard was that in the next 30 days, more video will be posted onto YouTube than all of the television shows recorded since TV started. So that's a tremendous increase in data. Now, is it all good? No. A lot of it are cat videos. But make sure that you're getting content out there because people are looking for it, and make sure that it's accessible and it's doing benefit for you. So thanks a lot for helping us make the case for mobile. We hope that you found that entertaining. Looking forward to taking some questions from you, and I'll turn it back over to Dave.
Awesome, Jeff, and thank you very much again for presenting. We do have at least one question here, and I'll open it up again for questions and remind folks how they can get in to ask more questions. One question I got in from Andy is, how do you set up a home page to avoid the downfalls of mobile, like too many images or too much text? And he mentioned that he's using WordPress. So I guess I can help with that, but then if you want to layer onto it.
Sure.
What you're looking for there is what's called mobile responsive design. Mm-hmm. It used to be really complicated, where you would have to get a mobile site where it would be m.yourwebsite.com or yourwebsite.mobi or whatever, and you would never see that unless you were trying to view it on your website. But now with new technology, with HTML5, CSS3, you can code your website so that it automatically reconfigures itself. So instead of going 3 columns worth of content, it reconfigures those columns so that they're stacked on top of each other in a mobile device. You can even go so far as to set up different text to show up on a mobile device automatically without having to change anything on your website. So you manage and maintain your website from one spot, and then it takes care of the rest. Example, when we built Prince's website a year ago, it was built to set downloads, or to allow downloads of audio tracks and videos. Obviously can't do that on a mobile device. You can't just download an MP3 to your iPhone. And so we had to add something on there that as soon as it got down to the mobile range, as soon as we knew that it was on a mobile device, that we would tell it, you can't download this onto this device, but go to your computer or PC to get this. And so it warned them before they purchased, and then told them what to expect if they did. But they could certainly purchase it, but then they would have to go and actually grab it from an email in order to download it to their computer and then upload it into iTunes or their music manager of choice, whatever. So that's the semi-long answer to a short question. But there's stuff available, and grabbing a new theme is probably the best thing in WordPress, because most new themes are mobile responsive.
Correct. And then with mobile responsive, you also have the ability in setting up for that you can prioritize certain content so that specifically is going to show. So it could be reducing say a directory listing down to 3 things, and you've got call to action buttons with each one. So you can have it so that it'll take your phone number, it'll automatically convert it to a button, so they can just press a button, it'll dial the phone and call you.
Right.
So that would be some things that I would do to help prioritize as well, and to make sure that on a mobile device, your home page is going to look the best that it possibly can.
Cool. Another question that I had as part of this was, inside of Constant Contact, then, as we're sending out emails, there were a bunch of things that you mentioned that we should be considering. By default, are templates in Constant Contact mobile responsive?
We're getting there.
Okay.
We've started to build out some mobile responsive templates. We've also built some mobile friendly templates. Okay. So we have more mobile friendly ones right now. You'll notice those by where they've moved from 2-column to a 1-column setup. So you've got your horizontal blocks stacked on top of each other, and that looks good on pretty much any device. Nice. So over the course of the summer, we'll be adding in more and more mobile responsive templates as well. So as it comes time to refresh your look, then you can grab a new template and modify it to your look, and you'll be all set up and ready to go.
Nice. Okay, cool. Let's see. We it doesn't look like we have any other questions on here. Jamie, did you have any questions? Sure.
You mentioned mobile-friendly image size. Do you have a size that is the right mobile image size?
That's a great question, and I don't know it off the top of my head. But you're probably going to be in probably, I would say, a 400 pixel by 200 pixel size frame.
Okay.
And that should, I think, render fairly well on pretty much any phone today, and especially on tablets.
I think like the default like iPhone width is 320, and that's for the higher res Retina displays. For the older stuff, it would probably be more like in the 300 range or the twos. So yeah, keep it small, around the 300 to 400 pixel wide. The height thing isn't as big of a deal, but making sure that you've got your images compressed so that they're not huge, but then also that they are as small as feasible. And the nice part about all of these tools, you can demo what they look like in your mobile version and on a mobile device, and kind of run that through to see what it looks like as you're trying these things out. So awesome. Well, let me run you through a couple more things as we get towards the end of our presentation here. In wrap, I wanted to go over just a couple of things to remind everyone. First, if you do have any last-minute questions here, I'm going to switch back over here and just click done on the question. But if you do have any questions, would love to remind you to connect up with us and join us on the Hangout. Of course, it's always best to join us in person, and Jamie, thank you for joining us here. We do have a great way to connect in. You can use the BuzzBuilders hashtag on Twitter, or you can send in a note to our Google Plus or Facebook pages if you do have questions. And of course, for the next couple of minutes, we'll also keep our Q&A open on the Hangout if you're watching this live. And we have a few folks that are watching live. If you caught this as a replay on our YouTube channel, just drop us in a line to either sales@BizzyWeb.com, which is at the bottom of this PowerPoint deck, or just send us a note or me a note directly. You can go in through the BizzyWeb website and hit support, or just hit the contact us button. You'll get into us, and we'll answer your question in a timely manner. Reminder of how BizzyWeb can help you. We build those optimized websites for social content, and we're an ALE for Constant Contact now, so we are your contact for Constant Contact. And Jeff actually is a great resource for us. So again, Jeff, thank you for joining us. As we build out and continue to grow this partnership, I'm sure you'll be hearing more of Jeff and from Jeff as we start to go on the speaker circuit together. But absolutely, if you see a organization, or if you're part of some group that could benefit from learning more about either mobile or anything in online marketing, including web design, anything in social media, or any other venue that you could learn about or would like us to help you speak to, we'd love to have that opportunity. Again, as a reminder, join us every Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we're going to talk about reputation marketing and how to use Yelp and Foursquare and Google Plus Local and Bing Local and all those other places to your advantage by garnering positive reviews, and how to manage negative reviews. So if you've been wondering about all this crazy Yelp stuff, this would be a great event for you to show up for. And again, that one's going to be in person and online. You'll get a much better experience and be able to actually talk to the folks in charge if you join us in person at our Champlin headquarters. So we'd love to have you there. But for sure, please register at BizzyWeb.com/BB. And when you do that, you'll be asked if you're going to join us in person or if you're going to be on the phone or on the computer. And we'll handle your request accordingly. Also gives you the opportunity to ask questions in advance. And we'll be hearing from Dave Haas of Street Level Marketing Solutions about your contacts and about what you can do with online marketing, specifically regarding reputation marketing like rankings and ratings on Yelp, Facebook, and all the others. So we'd love to have you with us there. And again, if you'd like to hear more about all this, be sure to request a buzz report. If you go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz, have one of our team members look through your account, what you're doing online and on the web, and we'll tell you what you could do to get better results than what you're currently doing. This is exclusive to our Buzz Builders fan base, and so if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you there, and we'll give you a 7-8 page report depending on how fancy your online marketing already is, and we guarantee you'll get real results out of the recommendations that we give you. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. This is your last chance to ask questions, so if you don't mind, go to google.com/+BizzyWeb and jot in those questions. We'll be here until 1 o'clock on the Hangout, so go to BizzyWeb.com and click on the article at the bottom of that page to join the Hangout Live. There's a link inside of that article to join the Hangout Live where you'll be able to ask questions. And of course, since Jamie's here, she gets Jeff's full attention for the next 20 minutes. So thank you all very much for joining us. Again, I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, reminding you that at BizzyWeb we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a great week.